Well, imagine an 80-year-old person deciding to move hundreds of miles from home to go to college. And if you do know somebody that did that, let me know. That'd be a great story. But what about a teenager who did the same, whose body in some ways just acts like it's 80 years old? For one young University of Arkansas student who has spent years battling a rare diagnosis and the pain that's come with it, at times she feels like she's on an island all by herself. Well, tonight on The Good Stuff, how a chance meeting changed all of that and created an island of two and growing. A Pilates workout inside this Rogers, Arkansas gym is the last place I'd expect 20-year-old Brooke Garner to be training for a 5K run.
Probably not, but it'll get my knees ready to run.
But apparently it is just what the doctor ordered for her knees and every other joint in her body.
It's been a struggle to get out of bed and, get moving every day.
Let's just say life on campus for this Arkansas student has been anything but a pain-free walk in the park.
It's usually really hard for people to process because, you don't really hear this and you're like, joints? Are you 80?
No, but try telling that to her body that's been taking doctor's orders since the age of 3.
It was difficult at the beginning.
It's when her parents, who live 8 hours away in Austin, Texas, started taking her to doctors. First, for bizarre rashes.
She had a couple of rounds of scarlet fever, which is apparently the same strand as having strep throat.
Scarlet fever? We just kind of raced right past that.
Yeah.
A preschooler with a diagnosis that felt straight out of the 1800s that was followed by years of unexplained pain.
It hit me like a freight train where my jaw and my head were just constantly hurting, and I was having a migraine every single day, could barely talk, could barely eat.
And as a patient, you want a diagnosis, and they're not telling you what she has, they're telling you what she doesn't have.
After years of doctor's visits, finally a diagnosis.
Juvenile Rheumatoid Arthritis. I'm like, why me? This is so weird. It's my joints. Trying to explain it to people, they're like, that doesn't really make sense.
And not just the diagnosis, but the countless pills and injections she takes daily.
This one is 4 shots, and I do it weekly.
Or the dozen or so surgeries she's had from her knee.
The scar is right there by my ear. It's a bit bigger on the right side.
To a total jaw replacement.
It was a rough surgery for sure, but so worth it, because I woke up for the first time in 2 years without a migraine.
Brooke and her parents eventually realized behind it all, the scarlet fever, the arthritis, all of it, was an autoimmune disease that basically swung the door wide open for all sorts of medical issues. But then Brooke says she walked straight through yet another door. That's when she realized her plan to move far from home in search of a clean slate, away from all of that medical baggage, wasn't exactly what she really needed. You see, a year ago, Brooke says she and other sorority members walked into the Phi Mu house on campus to listen to a philanthropic presentation when one of the members stood alone at the front of the room.
It genuinely feels isolating,
That's how, in part, Emma Smick described living with juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, figuring no one in this young crowd of college girls would have a clue what she was talking about. Until the following morning.
She direct messaged me on Instagram.
When she woke to a message from Brooke.
I cried. I took a screenshot of it and I cried, and I texted my parents and I was like, there's this girl who's my age at my school who's going through the same thing I went through.
Call it what you want, a little divine intervention or just pure luck. But just like that, the population on Brooke's medical island literally doubled overnight. Did you need this?
I did. It made me feel very thankful that there was someone else out there that was going through the same thing I was going through, who understood what it's like to be a little bit scared to be going to a big university like this.
It means I'm exhausted, the muscles are working.
And it's just what Brooke needed. Another teammate for this weekend's Arthritis Foundation Jingle Bell 5K run.
And my role is basically to bring awareness to the college campus and find as many connections as I can.
We're both extremely proud. I always tell her she has a story to tell. She'll tell it, and that one day we're going to see her on stages telling her story and how she's overcome these issues.
And I should add, Mom was so determined to get to the bottom of the ailments that years ago she reached out to the National Institutes of Health in Washington, D.C. That was bold. And they took on Brooke's case, where they have received some answers and help. And you can help Brooke by joining her 5K team for this Sunday's Jingle Bell 5K run. If you don't want to run, you can just donate. Her team is called, fittingly enough, the Jawbreakers. Gotta love her sense of humor. Scan that QR code right there, and that will take you straight to her fundraising page. Or just Google Arthritis Foundation and Jawbreakers, 2 words, and it will take you straight to her page. You'll also find a link pinned to the top of my Facebook page right now if you didn't have time to scan the QR code or Google all that. Let's help her raise some much needed money.